All right. Oh, there it is. All right. Are you looking for a car soon? That was a great test run. Test run for ourselves.
I feel like we're back.
We're back. You have no idea what we were talking about. We probably just looked like a bunch of heads that were talking, and you're like, "Where's the audio?" Well, we are talking a whole bunch. The market is shifting. Leasing is coming back with a vengeance. Fuel prices are down. And what does this mean to you? Plus, we also have some new data that I saw that politics and geographic location actually impact the cars that we drive. And to be honest, that makes sense to me. You know, if everyone else around you is driving something similar, chances are you're going to want to buy something to fit in. Or if you're that one person that's like, I'm going to be the leader of the group,
that's right.
You buy something different. But all of that and more. But before we do that, let me introduce our awesome host, because he's the host with me, Michael Toole.
Hey, thanks. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, but we'll mention it again. That's a lot of stuff, right? There's some consistencies and inconsistencies in the market right now, and we're going to chat about that briefly. But moreover, how about the inconsistencies of the weather?
Yes.
It's 70 degrees out, and it's October 22nd, 2024, upstate New York, 70 degrees.
I almost wore shorts. I did not. We have an 80-degree rule, and we're 4 degrees off.
That's right.
Shucks. But there's so much going on. If you're just hopping on, we are going to be doing this every Tuesday. Today is a little later than we wanted, but we're here. So make sure you tune in live Tuesdays, 12:30, and get your local news that relates to vehicle buying and what might impact something that you're looking at. Because we would truly believe that educated buyers are the best buyers.
We absolutely believe that. And as we jump into some of the topics, one of the topics is that consistency in the market, not the weather, but the market that I was talking about a few seconds ago. It's really nice to see that as we come into the fourth quarter and we get into the winter seasons, that there has been some consistency this year in the market. And the big part of that most people see if you're shopping for a car, or at least considering one, is the inventory that's available.
Yeah.
Right? And inside the business, we call that days supply, right? The days supply of inventory that's available. The good news is the new car day supply has been relatively consistent. Network-wide, it's about 72 days, which if you're not familiar with the definition of day supply, that means how much inventory is available on the ground for somebody to buy, and then compared to how much we sell. So 72 days for new cars, only 42 days for used cars. So used cars sell quite a bit faster. Maybe there's more people looking for used cars.
Hey, I mean, when you're looking for a car, I think everybody is like, man, I really want a new car, but then they realize their budget and they're like, I gotta go used car.
Yeah, that's true. Could be a budget thing.
But there's a lot of options out there now, and are we starting to see price? So with the new stabilization of all of the new and used vehicles, what does that do for price, and what can we expect about prices? Are they more flexible? Like, is there more competition? Like, should we start looking at them now, or should we kind of give them a little? Because everyone knows it's a market, right? It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. You got to strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah, I agree. To answer the question, the good news of when I say a stable market means that doesn't mean there aren't fluctuation in the market week by week or month by month, but those are more like ripples instead of that real like EKG that it was during COVID. So the good news for anybody shopping for a vehicle is it's a little bit easier to somewhat predict what's going to happen within the month or within the next couple months. So if you need a little time, or just economics determine that you need some time to decide whether you're going to make the move on this car or this car, there's some consistency. In terms of incentives and deals, the good news is, and we're going to chat about it in a minute, leasing is back. So leasing, in terms of making vehicles affordable on a monthly basis, is a really good option, and we'll chat about that in a few minutes. So those incentives that the manufacturers have offered to potential buyers, a lot of them have to do with leasing. So that's really good news.
Yeah.
On that note, real quick, the other factor in that cost of ownership. We talked last week about the pillars, meaning a monthly payment, your maintenance costs that you have with your vehicle, that's a cost of ownership, and also fuel prices.
Ooh,
fuel prices. That's a big one.
Everybody's looking at the fuel prices, and fortunately, we've had the pleasure of a 3.9% drop month over month. and a staggering, you're going to love, everyone, get ready. Are you ready? We've had a 16% change year over year.
Decrease.
It's gotten lower over the year, which everyone just give a round of applause. You guys did it. Good job. But, now if you're going to be driving around during the fall, you'll be saving at the pump. Go get your leaf peeping in, because we already talked about it is going away. There's not going to be many leaves left.
That's right. And always a hot topic on our show, well, for the first couple of weeks, EVs, right? Electric vehicles.
Yes.
Now the fuel cost for EVs, zero. Right? However, if you don't have an EV or it's not for you, the fuel cost, and I'll quote just a quick stat here for you. I like to refer to a website from the U.S. Energy Information Administration Department, which is right on their website, shows the average U.S. fuel prices right now, last week, last month, and then year over year. You won't believe what the average fuel price is.
I'm ready for the average.
The average fuel price for 87 octane in the country right now is $3.14.
87 is the basic one that most people, if you don't actually look at the numbers and you're like, I don't even remember what are the colors?
It's regular.
Regular.
Yeah, regular
Yes.
unleaded. So, which most of the Hondas and Chevys use 87 octane. So that's to me, that's a staggering amount, right? I'd always like to be less, but a 16% decrease.
Everyone always wants it less.
That's right. 16% decrease.
My parents, when I was growing up, were like, I can't believe that gas has gotten to 25 cents per gallon. This is crazy. And now we're at $3.14. We're like, wow, this is really good. And you're like,
That's right. It seems like only a year or two ago, which it was, where regular unleaded was well over $4. Now it's $3.14 on average. But that 16% decrease, there's very little in today's economy with the inflation numbers that we've seen in the last year where we can say there was an actual decrease to household spending. So that's really good news. So we wanted to pass that on.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think, thinking about gas prices, and I feel like one of the biggest things for individuals has been that dealerships and OEMs and all of them pushing EVs. Do you think that will take an effect on new ownership of EVs out there?
It certainly may. And we'll just touch on it really quickly. The good news is EVs, which Honda has EVs, General Motors and Chevy has EVs. So at Mohawk, we're happy to chat with you about the differences there. But specifically to Honda, since we're sitting in the Honda showroom, the new Prologue has been a huge success. EVs now are they're approaching 9% market share, which is almost double what it was 24 months ago. So 2 years ago, it was only 4.5%. Now it's only almost 9%, which means there certainly is a network-wide adoption of EVs. And obviously, right, if you take one of those pillars, right, you have maintenance, which is less on an EV. You have fuel, which is zero. And you certainly have the cost of the vehicle, but it certainly is an option for a lot of folks that think it fits their lifestyle.
I think that it's almost like the new kid on the block, right?
It is.
You're like, your cool friends get them first, and you start to warm up to them, and then eventually, like, all right, why not? Let's try it out.
Absolutely. They might as well at least try it.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously we're happy in either showroom to let you test drive one and check it out. And we have experts in both stores that'll be happy to review with you what the benefits are.
Absolutely. And I will say they are very fun to drive. Very, very fun. So come on and test drive. But that's some of the local things that we're seeing here in the tri-state area. And another thing that we're starting to see is a lot of Mohawk events.
Speaking of fun,
yeah,
a lot
right?
of stuff going on.
So much fun. Tomorrow, I gotta tell everyone right now. Tomorrow, make sure you tune in, whether online or at Mohawk Chevrolet in person. There's going to be a press release from the Firebirds, the Albany Firebirds. They are talking about a surprise I can't disclose. I don't even know if I really know what it is. They've been going back and forth, but I don't know who or what it is, but they've been throwing some feelers out there. But come on down to Mohawk Chevrolet. We're going to have some barbecue. We're going to have some fun. 2 p.m. at Mohawk Chevrolet. And if you can't make it in person, they will be live streaming from our dealership to their pages. They will be on Facebook. They will be on Twitter. and YouTube, and I believe Instagram as well. So make sure you tune in for that. It's just fun to have a local team, the local Albany Firebirds, who are an indoor football team.
It's fall. What's better than football, right? Arena football.
In every way possible.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you play arena football, you never have to worry about the weather. You don't have to worry about it snowing, or it's summer, or too hot. You're just there having a good time.
Well, we'd love to see you either in person at the Mohawk Chevrolet showroom on Route 67 in Malta, or tune into the live stream. And speaking of some late October events, we have a couple more that are.
Yes, we do. Everybody loves to be scared around this time of the year, and we are going to be at Double M. So if you're going to Double M and on Friday, come over, say hello. Also, who knows? Maybe we'll pay for somebody's ticket.
That's it. And that's a haunted hayride, right?
It's a haunted hayride, yeah. So
haunted hayride.
If you haven't been there yet, make sure you check it out. Double M, haunted hayrides. It used to be a rodeo, but now they kind of got rid of that, and now it's just a hayride place. And they've done some few things through the summer, but they're awesome. They're in exit 12 off of Malta, Route 67. Near that Stewart, right between Stewart's and Mohawk Chevrolet. It's kind of a football throw, as we like to say, right? Well, I don't think anyone says that, but we say it now. Coming up on this Sunday from 11 to 2 at Mohawk Honda and Mohawk Chevrolet, we are going to have our annual trunk or treat. So this is the time of year that kids get spoiled with candy, and everybody and their mother now does a trunk or treat, and we have been doing it for the past 3 or 4 years here at Mohawk, and we've had so many people come through. So make sure you put that on your calendars. I think, Mike, you'll be there, right?
I will be there, and I can tell you the rest of the staff is really excited. We're excited to see what the costumes look like this year. So,
do you want to give everyone a hint of what your costume is going to be?
I can't do that.
You'll see on Sunday.
It'll be a surprise. However, the costumes, please get your kids on point with their costumes, and it's not just for kids. So
not
parents,
just for kids.
Adults, moms, dads, everybody who's coming, feel free to dress up. We'd love to see it too. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, everybody dress up. And at Mohawk Honda, we are going to have a special DJ Mike Power, who graciously is donating his time for this event, which is awesome. This is his second year doing it with us, and he's always having a good time.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. What's better than dancing in Halloween costumes and getting candy?
I know what's better than that, getting a new car.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And with that being said, let's talk a little bit of, let's talk about our main topic today, and that is going to be leasing versus buying. And what's right for you? What should people know about this time with leasing and buying?
So the good news is leasing is back, right? It seemed like there were a couple of years there where leasing wasn't really supported, or you didn't see those great deals. But if you check out both websites, Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet, there are some great lease deals available. And those are on specific vehicles, but leasing is not for everybody, right? It depends. And we certainly understand at the dealer level, it doesn't matter to us whether somebody leases a vehicle or buys a vehicle, but it's a great alternative in order to keep that cost of ownership low. Right. Most of the time, leasing offers a lower monthly payment as opposed to buying that same car.
Yeah.
So leasing certainly has some restrictions or some parameters, which include annual mileage. So for drivers that drive high mileage, which I'd consider anything over 15,000 miles per year, 18, 20, leasing may or may not be for them. However, people that drive low mileage and are in that new cell phone era where, every 6 months to a year you're upgrading, if you're one of those people like I am, leasing might be for you because you're probably getting into a new vehicle every couple of years, every 2 or 3 years, and it enables you to keep a brand new vehicle without having to worry about paying full tax on the vehicle when you buy it, or dealing with a trade-in or all those kind of things. It's easy enough just to come back to the dealership and get a new car.
Right. So what do you say to someone who's like, well, I don't actually own the car, so why would I do a lease?
No, it's a very good point. When you lease a vehicle, the leasing company that's in essence you're financing with, so to speak, you're leasing with, is the one that owns the vehicle. However, on the other side, if you finance that same car to begin with, you really don't own it until you make all the payments anyway, right? So certainly some people pay cash, which that makes a lot of sense. If you buy the vehicle outright, then you definitely own it. However, if you finance the vehicle, you don't own it completely until you make all the payments. So there's certainly something to be said for either one.
Okay. And then there's are things I've heard, like a one payment lease, or like you pay for the full thing up front. Like, how does that work? Is that even a possibility for consumers?
It is. One-time payment leases or single-pay leases are available. There certainly want to be a certain set of parameters why somebody would do that. It does require, they have a bunch of cash to lay out to begin with, and then you have no payments over that lease term. That's what we're referring to. A one-time lease pay would be where you paid for the entire lease up front, then had no payments until the lease matured. So there could be reasons for that, including some type of tax write-off and things. Sometimes businesses, or if you're a small business owner, sometimes that makes sense. So we're happy to chat with you about that scenario too on any car that we have.
And so with the different types of leases, what is like the typical term for a lease? Like 24, 36, 48, 72, 80, 12. I've seen them all.
Yeah, there are a number of terms available, as short as 24 months and as long as 48 months or 60 months. But both General Motors and Honda both feel like that 36-month term, which is 3 years, tends to be the sweet spot. And it's a pretty good thing for somebody who's leasing the vehicle, because you have warranty coverage for 36 months. That basic warranty coverage for both General Motors and Honda is 36 months. So it's nice to be within that warranty period when you're leasing the vehicle, instead of leasing a vehicle where you're outside of that warranty. So 36 months seems to be the answer right now.
Okay, cool. So Greg was talking to Paul Vandenberg, who was literally sitting here the other day, and he made a comment about these being like the best lease specials he's ever seen. I want to know from you if that's what you're saying, or
I agree. I do agree with that, and some of the new vehicles weren't around before. Like, for example, the new Honda Prologue, the EV, has an exceptional lease special. And depending on the trim level, you're talking about a $45,000 to $50,000 vehicle, which is a lot of money, no matter what way you slice it.
Yeah, right.
And to have a lease special where, depending on eligibility, you may have a lease payment under $300 a month is stupendous.
That's awesome.
It's like a cable payment nowadays.
I would love that. I would love a sub $300 lease.
So just that one vehicle alone makes me think, wow, I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And certainly the last few years where leasing wasn't super advantageous may have pushed some people away from thinking about a lease. But I highly encourage everybody to at least chat with us and get an idea, get a quote, and we're happy to provide some leasing info to you, especially if it's been a while since you've done it.
Yeah, definitely. And because we do it every day. We see everything. We see a wide gamut of different situations and people's needs and wants.
Absolutely. That may have to do with the next topic.
Needs and wants.
Yep, absolutely. And who owns what vehicle in what part of the country, right?
Yes. So, did we talk about the Fed rate yet?
We didn't, but I'm certainly not an expert in the dealership about finance rates and so forth, but we do have an expert that's going to join us in a few minutes, and Tony's going to give us a rundown on the Fed.
Tony's on his way. Tony is one of our finance managers here at Mohawk Honda, and so he's going to give a little bit more depth on the Fed rate cuts. Everyone has been waiting for this for, I don't even know how long that's been.
It seems like forever. They were talking about a potential rate cut, and during the Fed meetings in the beginning of the year, in the first quarter and the second quarter, and finally last month we saw a cut, right? So we talked about 50 basis points that the reduction, that the Fed reduced the rate, and the next meeting is in November 6th and 7th.
Oh, there's another meeting.
There is, and coincidence or otherwise, everybody can make their own discernation on that, but it's the day after the election.
I see.
Right, so we'll see kind of how that works out, but there certainly is some talks and opinions about whether we'll see another cut after the election in November. So we'll see what happens.
Colleen, welcome to the stream here. George, welcome to the stream. Linda, welcome to the stream, and all of our streamers following us across YouTube at the moment. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the comments below. Again, this is Mohawk Table Talk. We want to make you guys and gals educated buyers, because we know that educated buyers make the best buyers, because you literally know what you want and you've been researching. So it makes a great synergy. So make sure you throw your comments in. We'd love to get at them. So new data on car preferences in the U.S. Business Insider article highlights politics and geography influence the cars people buy across America. And according to a guide that actually MOT has up on his screen,
we could post this link.
Yeah, we'll post the link
so you can check it out, because there's some neat info in here that you can put in your own vehicle, right? That you own, and see where your vehicle is most popular in the country. Probably more trivial than anything, because you probably got your car for a reason and you love it. We certainly get that, but really some interesting data here.
So I would love to, if you're watching this stream or if you're watching the replay, what vehicle did you pick and why? You know, it's always fun to ask somebody, right? Like if you talk to, talk to any of your friends that own a vehicle, there is a specific reason why they're like, yep, this is the vehicle I wanted, this is the vehicle I got. Or there's a complete opposite where like, no, it's just the best one.
You know what I'd also love to know, see if anybody would like to comment, do you go from one vehicle to the next of the same make and model? Because certainly every day Nate and I talk to folks who come, especially in the Honda showroom, and say, Mike, this is my third or fourth CRV that I've had, and that's it. I'm a CRV person, and that's what I want to buy. And then on the other hand, some people like to change, right? Maybe it's a CRV. I drive an Accord. Nate, you drive a truck, right?
I drive a Silverado.
That's right. You drive a
Silverado.
Yeah, that's right. So it's very interesting to us as the dealer what people prefer, and certainly there's no right answer. It's whatever you want.
So I want to know. Let's learn a little bit more about. Let's for instance, we're looking at New York. That's New York, right? Oh no, that's Massachusetts. New York. Oh my gosh, I totally. That is something I didn't. I missed that. I thought that Massachusetts was the New York state.
And what Nate's looking at, and once you click on the link that are in the show notes, you'll see they made a neat the BusinessInsider.com. BusinessInsider.com made a neat map, and they put these bubbles to represent each state. And he was looking at the Honda symbol, and the Honda symbol is the leading seller in Massachusetts, which is right next door to where we are.
Yeah, so. Honestly, though, I did not see Chevrolet
there it
as
is.
in New York. And in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, well, Honda would make sense. A lot more families.
Well, we're a little biased too.
And we are a little biased.
We're a little biased. I know I am. So, it's kind of interesting. So we'll leave that for you to take a look at.
Why do you think Chevrolet is the top brand in New York?
Well, with honesty, as I look at this map, if you look at this map of the U.S., that Chevrolet bow tie is, it seems like it's half of the country.
That's true.
As far as the number one selling brand in each of the respective states. So certainly have a huge presence, especially in the Midwest. Also in New York, it's the number one selling brand. So it's very interesting. I guess I would assume Chevy does such a great job with SUVs and trucks. Maybe it's four-wheel drive, and that those winter seasons make it real easy for people to choose Chevy.
That makes sense.
Might be.
What's one thing on this map that you are surprised about?
Ooh, let's see. You know what we see here? I am a little surprised at the number one selling brand in Florida. A lot of us have ties to Florida, right?
Yeah, right. Wow, Mercedes. Actually, you know what? That doesn't surprise me.
Okay, all right.
And you want to know why?
Why?
It's because the thought of Florida, right, is like the retirement state,
Okay,
right?
all right.
So you have all the older generations there that don't have to pay for kids anymore. They don't have to pay for that. And they're like, you know what? I live my life. I'm buying myself a Sadie's.
It could be, but we talk to a lot of people every day that say Honda's the brand for that. They say, "Oh, I'm retired. I'm ready to take it easy."
Really?
And Honda's the brand. So who knows? Who knows?
Listen,
Maybe
if I
Honda's
had
number two.
more disposable income, I don't think. I don't know. I would have to figure it out. It's also what my wife would want me to drive.
There you go. So check out the link in the show notes. It's really a pretty neat thing. It's just businessinsider.com. Has a lot of neat info about brand and the brands that dominate each geography.
So we had to wait. We killed some time. We talked a little bit about the interactive thing. I will throw in there. Kelly Jo, welcome. Laura, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, maybe you're looking for a vehicle, looking to buy, any questions about what you're seeing out there, let us know. We'd love to answer them live here on the show. And if you're on the replay, feel free to comment on here and we'll get them in there. But we were talking about leasing versus buying and rates and the Fed cut, and we decided to call in the big guns.
That's right.
And that is a finance manager here at Mohawk Honda, Tony Riano.
Everybody, welcome Tony.
Everyone, welcome Tony.
There he is.
Hello guys, well, how are you?
Good. How are you?
What's going on?
So we're talking a little bit about rate cut, right? And we wanted the expert opinion on the effect that the tax cut is, Fed rate,
The rate
is,
cut, sure.
whatever
It's a
that
huge,
is.
exciting
Honestly,
discussion.
I'll be fully transparent. Literally have no idea what it does. Just know that everyone thinks it's a really big deal, and I'd love to learn more.
It's definitely a big deal. Yeah, with the rate cut that happened a few weeks ago, it's helping all consumers across the board. That's for sure. It's slowly dwindling down. Banks are cutting their rates slowly, and it's helping us as buyers, right? So now is the time. If you're thinking about getting into a newer used car, now is the time. Even leasing, it's affecting that as well.
Yeah, so in general, obviously the rate cut will help the rate in which the banks buy the money.
Sure.
And have we seen some of that in reduced rates for customers a little bit?
We have. As a matter of fact, today, one of our representatives came by to give us some new rates that we can use for customers to help them out.
Excellent.
Yes, it's happening. We are seeing it.
Excellent. And just like, correct me if I'm wrong, but even with leasing, because of the fact that leasing, there is a rent charge to leasing, which means that it's not, there's some interest in there. We see a little reduction in some of the lease rates. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago.
Yeah, no, you are not wrong at all. We are seeing that reduction across the board with all of our models, actually. It's a good time to lease or purchase. It's helping us out.
Let's see here.
As Nate's sorting there.
I had a bunch of notes that I wrote down, and
Since we're on the finance topic, and that certainly the monthly payment is one of the big factors of the cost of ownership for each customer every month. When we see customers looking to apply for a loan, if they haven't done it in a while, right? Not everybody buys a car, leases a car every 3 or 4 years.
Sure.
Sometimes it's been a while. I've heard that banks like to see 10, maybe even 20% in terms of cash down payment up front. What do you see in terms of what banks like to see for down payments?
Yeah, they would like to see some interest for sure, obviously on your part. But banks are starting to open up again, right? So I wouldn't let that hold anybody back if they're in the market or they need a vehicle. Banks are starting to open up, and it's being more advantageous for the consumer at this point. So now is definitely the time, not just in rates, but they want your business.
That's
what
great.
does that mean? The banks are opened up. What does that look? What was that? If I'm a client, I'm a customer, I'm coming like, you're like, the banks are open. I'm like,
Sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure. I guess in other words, I wouldn't be scared. If you're worried about an approval or you're worried what your rate is going to be, I wouldn't be scared anymore. I would jump on the bandwagon, right, and get in and let us see what we can do. And I think that a lot of times, a lot of our customers are surprised at how we're able to help them and what we're able to do for them.
Okay.
All right, and that is with the banks again opening up and helping us out with that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's good. Having some, maybe the banks opening up their parameters a little bit more will be helpful. And at both of our stores, at Mohawk Chevrolet and Mohawk Honda, we have a great supply of vehicles. So sometimes some vehicles, in terms of pricing and years and things like that, work better than others with finance approval. I'll kind of speak for Tony there a little bit. So we have a really good selection of vehicles. So even if you think one vehicle may not be for you, we may have a vehicle that'll fit the bill. Have you seen that happen in the past?
Oh, it happens all the time, right? We see it day in and day out here, for sure.
Absolutely. Good.
How frequently would you say it's like someone comes in and they're like, I need this car, I want this car, but then they realize, oh, well, this isn't really going to fit my budget. Maybe I can find find a different vehicle that kind of like suits my needs. How like frequent is that?
Well, it does happen, right? It is frequent.
Right.
But with having as many lenders as we have, oftentimes we can find a customer to find the right vehicle and make it make sense to them as far as their budget goes. We have a lot of vehicles, we have a lot of banks, we have a lot of opportunities there to help really anybody out.
What would you say is like the best course of action for someone to kind of like be prepared? Right. So if I'm looking at a vehicle, what's my best course of action to make sure that I'm prepared to answer whatever questions are needed to kind of, I would say, expedite our process, right? To kind of,
Sure.
So I don't run into the fact, because if you're car buying, right, you're like, I want this car, and you're like, well, that doesn't really fit your needs and wants. You're like, oh, well, now I need to go back to the drawing board. And now we have to kind of restart the process again, find you a different vehicle, kind of work through all that. So how can someone be more prepared to kind of help themselves out when they're coming in?
Well, I think you nailed it, Nate. I mean, you can only prepare so much, right? I mean, obviously, you know what you want, you know what your needs are. So just think about that, and we'll leave it to the professionals. Let us know, and we will help guide you through that process, so that we can try to get you in a vehicle that does make sense at the end of the day.
Cool. Yeah. Great stuff. Tony is one of the best we have here. We have a whole team of finance professionals. They're happy to consult with you if you're watching, or anybody you know. And that consultation is exactly that. It may be some advice. We certainly advocate that if you'd like to get a pre-approval before you come to the dealership, if that's a little bit of a chore to get here, you're welcome to do that. Both websites have a very secure portal to get that pre-approval. That way we can assist you with maybe directing you on some vehicles that'll work well. I think it's a great tool.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks,
Now's the time.
Thanks, Tony. Tony's our resident expert here. And if you're hopping on, hi Myra, Christopher Park, Jessica Price.
Thank you.
Thank you all for hopping on here. If you have any questions, Jennifer Cerrone. Hey, as you're hopping on here, if you have any questions and you are looking to buy a vehicle, or you know someone that's looking for a vehicle, and you want to get them to have the best education, this is Mohawk Table Talk. We are working to have everyone that's on here to become an educated buyer, so you understand, one, to help you get in and out of the process faster, know what you need to know, and have what you need to have as much as you can, because obviously you come in here, there's different things that might come into play.
There absolutely are. There are a lot of aspects, and we just touched on a few today. Obviously, in terms of paying for a vehicle, there's leasing, there's financing, and there's, of course, paying cash. There's no set answer for everybody. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, and at both of our stores, we're happy to consult and give you some of our opinions on what might be right for you.
And if you're just hopping on and you are wondering what this is Mohawk Table Talk. We're here every Tuesday at 12:30, and we're here to give you some tips and tricks just to understand a little bit better about car buying, what's happening in the local area that will affect when you come in, when you're looking for a vehicle. So we'd love for you to like and share this. Some of the things that we talked about leasing versus buying. Obviously, we just had Tony on here talking about the Fed rates and the cuts and what's that look like. We also had fuel prices that were down, which everyone's very happy about.
We love it.
And a lot of different things that the Mohawk Auto Group is doing. We have the Firebirds press release tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned to that. We also have Double M Hayride. I almost said rodeo.
That's right.
You put that in my mind. I've been thinking about the Honda Hayride for a while. Leo He's the operator over there. Just amazing. You know, these local businesses that are staying here, that have built over the years, it's awesome to see them grow. So we love to be a part of that. And our trunk or treat, make sure you come to Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet, 11 to 2
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
And everybody better dress up. Bring the kids, bring the whole family, bring the neighbors, adults, moms, dads, everybody who's coming. We want to see you dressed up.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for any leasing specials or things like that, make sure you check our social medias if you haven't already. Stay up to date on that. And next week,
we look forward to it. We always try to pack a whole bunch of info into a small period of time. If you have any comments or questions, like Nate mentioned, feel free to add them to the comments, especially if you're watching the replay.
all right, everybody, we will see you next week live Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. here in Mohawk Honda. And remember, Mohawk Table Talk and Mohawk Auto Group, where we always go out of our way to please you. We'll see you next time.
All right. We got it done.
We did it.
How long were we videoing with no audio? 5, 6 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.